Support for WUWM podcasts comes from Potawatomi Casino Hotel Milwaukee, home to 24/7 excitement, dining, and an on-site hotel at 1721 West Canal Street. More information at potawatomi.com.
Cranes are some of the largest flying birds in the world. They're known for performing elaborate mating dances and their prehistoric sounding calls. And you can see all 15 of the world's crane species right here in Wisconsin. You'll find them at the International Crane Foundation in Baraboo, Wisconsin. There you can learn about their behaviors, different qualities, and about the importance of preserving their habitat. To help you plan a trip to the International Crane Foundation, Lake Effect's Becky Mortensen is joined by Akiko Nakagawa, the Interpretive Program Coordinator at the Foundation, and Amanda Weibel with Travel Wisconsin.
Akiko, what can people do and see on a trip to the International Crane Foundation?
Our main public area is what we call the Crane Discovery Center. It's actually the only place in the entire world where you can come and learn about all 15 of the different crane species that live around the world. And you can come and learn about fun facts about their biology and the places that they like to live, as well as all the conservation efforts that are going on.
And all 15 cranes are represented at the center, like you said, and they each have kind of different qualities. But the thing that they all have in common is that they are big and tall birds. So can you just kind of describe what cranes look like and why they are such good ambassadors for all bird conservation?
Yeah, definitely. So cranes are a large family of birds. They, here in North America, range between 4 and 5 feet tall. So they are really, really large. But they are an incredibly good ambassador for not just bird conservation, but conservation in general. They're what we like to call an umbrella species. And an umbrella species is basically, by conserving that one animal, they are indirectly conserving all sorts of other smaller animals. So at the International Crane Foundation, we're really focused on protecting their habitats as well. The wetlands and the grasslands that they use are home to lots and lots of different smaller animals like frogs and turtles and insects and those sorts of things. So by protecting cranes, we're protecting all of the other smaller animals that also use those homes.
Right. So in addition to the Discovery Center, there are trails and some natural areas to walk through there at the center, right?
Yes, there are. We have a few miles of trails through our restored prairie, as well as our oak savanna and oak forests.
Okay, so cranes live all over the world, and there are offices that work with the International Crane Foundation in countries throughout the world. So why is the foundation headquartered right here in Wisconsin?
So the short story there is that one of our co-founders, Ron Sowie, grew up in Baraboo, but our two co-founders actually met in 1971 at Cornell University when they were both studying cranes. And the story kind of goes that one day Ron was talking to somebody else about how he was from Baraboo and how that was the same place that Aldo Leopold wrote the Sand County Almanac. And our other co-founder, George, overheard this conversation and got really excited because he was a big fan of Aldo Leopold. And then when they graduated, they wanted to create this International Conservation Center. And when they were trying to figure out where they were going to make a home base, Wisconsin was top of that list. And Ron's parents were actually kind enough to rent their old horse barn for them for just $1 a year. So yeah, that's how we got our start. And then we're just a couple miles from that old farm, actually.
So it's spring, which is an exciting time for bird activity. Is there anything big going on with the cranes at the center right now?
Yeah, there is lots of activity all the time, but right now is especially exciting because we see a lot of breeding behaviors. Right in the habitats at the Crane Discovery Center, we have cranes who are nesting and building nests, as well as sitting on some eggs, which is always really exciting.
What kind of reaction do you get from visitors when they get to see these birds in person?
I feel like a lot of the time it's, oh, wow, I had no idea that this place existed. Or I had no idea that there was so much conservation work going on with cranes because sandhill cranes are everywhere. So that sort of, oh, I didn't know that this is right in my backyard sort of situation, I think is the most common. But people are really excited to see all of the different cranes as well, because some of the other ones, like our African crane species, are very charismatic as well.
And what's something that you find surprises people when they visit the center?
Just the actual international scope of the International Crane Foundation. Here in Wisconsin, we have about 70 of our full-time staff, but all around the world, we have about 6 offices now, I think, at this point, and we have about 175 total staff working all around the world to help protect the cranes and working with local communities and local governments to figure out the best ways to do that.
All right, Amanda, I'm going to turn to you. We have talked before about the Baraboo area, but it's spring, so I want to talk about all the things there are to do outside in this part of the state as it begins to warm up. So what are some of the best outdoor activities you'd recommend in the Baraboo area?
The area around Baraboo is absolutely gorgeous. The glacier-shaped landscape is full of ancient rock outcroppings, sandstone cliffs, forest hills, and so many great places to get outdoors. You're surrounded by 3 state parks right in that area. There's Devil's Lake, Mirror Lake, and Rocky Arbor, and each one of those parks has a unique appeal. Devil's Lake is probably the most well-known. It's got those dramatic bluffs and views that actually helps it earn a spot on Travel Wisconsin's Wonders of Wisconsin list. But you also have Mirror Lake. It has these placid waters that are ideal for paddling. You can even rent a kayak or canoe right at the park. And then Rocky Arbor is this quiet escape just outside the bustling activity in the Dells. Lake Wisconsin is near Baraboo too, and that's a really popular spot for boating and fishing. But you can also get on the lake even if you don't have your own boat. The Merrimack Ferry is one of those quintessential summertime experiences. So that's a great one to check out as springtime rolls around. It's actually free to take the ferry across, and you're definitely going to want to treat yourselves to an ice cream cone at the end of the ferry ride. And then finally, for one more lesser known activity, check out Gibraltar Rock. The trail takes you to the top of a 200-foot high rock formation, and from there you can catch panoramic views of the Wisconsin River Valley.
And one of the more unique things to do and see outside in this area is Dr. Evermore's Sculpture Park. Amanda, this might be a tall task, but can you describe this place?
I will certainly try to do it justice, but you're right. It is kind of one of those see it to believe it destinations. It had been on my bucket list for a long time, and I finally got to visit last summer. It is so worth the trip. You're going to feel almost like you're walking through the pages of a science fiction novel as you walk through the park. The sculpture park is the brainchild of Tom Every, who adopted the persona of a Victorian era inventor named Dr. Evermore. He worked in salvage and wreckage and ended up actually using a lot of what he broke down to build back new again. And today, his legacy is on display at Dr. Evermore's Sculpture Park. This space is filled with these fascinating works of imagination. The sculptures are made of antique machinery parts, farming equipment, musical instruments, really whatever Dr. Evermore could get his hands on. And many of his work depict animals, like they're birds and frogs. But the signature attraction is the Forevertron. So this piece dominates the center of the park, and for good reason. It stands 50 feet tall, it's 120 feet wide, it weighs 300 tons, and it is claimed the title as the largest scrap metal sculpture in the world. It's made of power plant parts, high voltage equipment, lightning rods, all kinds of other scrap that come together to form this Forevertron. There's really just so much to see throughout the park, and the more time you spend there, the more unique details you're going to notice.
Yeah, you're not going to see something like this anywhere else. It is a one-of-a-kind place to visit.
It is.
All right, so after people have seen some sculptures or maybe seen some cranes, where might people want to grab a drink or something to eat in the Baraboo area?
There are lots of great options to choose from. For a classic sports bar setting, check out the Baraboo Burger Company. This is the perfect spot if you've worked out the big appetite outdoors. It's open for lunch and dinner, and as the name suggests, gourmet burgers are their signature item. They've got plenty of specialties to choose from. You could also grab a meal at Broadway Diner for a retro vibe. The diner was manufactured in 1954 during that golden age of diners. It has a classic diner ambiance, mint green booths, countertop service, plus plates full of nostalgia. You can get their hot off the griddle breakfast dishes like the gourmet hash or stop in for lunch. And for a sip of something local, check out Tumbled Rock Brewery and Kitchen. This brewery is right outside of Devil's Lake, and it's a great place on a warm spring day. They have a really large outdoor patio where you can often catch some live music. And the head brewer puts her own creative spin on all of the brews and incorporates some unexpected flavors for memorable sips.
As a birder, the International Crane Foundation sounds like a wonderful place to plan a trip. But for those who aren't maybe birders or don't know much about cranes, why would you recommend they put the International Crane Foundation on their travel list for spring or summer? And Akiko, I'll start with you.
Yeah, I always encourage anybody really to come visit the International Crane Foundation because conservation starts with people knowing about it. And if you know about it, you'll learn to appreciate it more. And if you appreciate it more, maybe you'll end up wanting to support some of our programs that we have going on. Of course, it does catch the interest of birders and nature lovers alike, but we really encourage anybody who has any sort of interest to come and explore.
And Amanda?
This is such a unique destination. It's so impressive that the impact of the International Crane Foundation is global, but at the Crane Discovery Center, they bring the world to you. You can learn about the vital work preserving cranes, you can see all 15 species, and just gain a deeper understanding and appreciation of the world's wildlife. You are not going to find a destination like it anywhere else in the world.
Well, Amanda and Akiko, thank you so much for joining me for Wandering Wisconsin.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks so much.
Amanda Weibel is the Communications Officer for Travel Wisconsin. Akiko Nakagawa is the Interpretive Program Coordinator at the International Crane Foundation. They both joined Lake Effect's Becky Mortensen for our series Wandering Wisconsin. You can see a video of the cranes on WUWM's Instagram.